everybody once again to another episode of those thrilling days of yesteryear, our recreations of the golden age of radio, some of your favorite shows. And today we have got something fun and exciting for you on this lovely spring day. We are in the middle of our 13th season and we're just starting to wind it up. We've had such a whole bunch of fun. And today we are going to celebrate the unsung heroes of World War II, the women. Girl power. So, any women here? So during World War II, war was deemed to be a man's job. So the majority of people sent overseas were, of course, men, doing the things that men do. Which left the question, who handles the men's jobs back at home? Well, the answer, startlingly enough, was women, of course. But a lot of people, and mostly men people, apparently had a very hard time dealing with this idea that women could do the same work as men. Nowadays, it's pretty commonplace. But boy, back in 1942, men like Fibber McGee, whose malfunctioning vacuum cleaner sucks him into a day of being shown exactly how much women can really do. The Women Are Taking Over was the title of this episode, and it was originally broadcast on December 8th, 1942, on Fibber, McGee, and Molly. Now, of course, that was during the 1940s, during wartime, but what about powerful women back in the Old West? Of course, we all knew that the Old West was man's country, and men doing gunfighting and horse wrangling. But what happens when Marshal Matt Dillon comes up against a woman who happens to be just as tough as he is, and maybe even tougher? Gunsmoke was like Star Trek. There could be serious episodes that were really dark and heavy and violent, but then also light and funny episodes. And this Gunsmoke episode, entitled Hinkadoo, was from October 10th, 1952, is known as one of the lighter stories. And by the way, none of us have any idea what Hinkadoo stands for. So don't ask. I don't want people coming up afterwards going, so what was Hinkadoo? What does that mean? We don't know, and nobody from Gunsmoke knows. Because these titles were actually never really announced to the public. It was just to identify the scripts. So a lot of the times the scripts would just have sort of strange titles just so they knew what show they were doing. Now, ironically, there was a bit of timeliness, unintended timeliness with today's show. Because last Tuesday, for anybody who may not know, Mary Keefe passed away at the beautiful age of 92 years old. And Mary was the model for the iconic Norman Rockwell painting, Rosie the Riveter, which was inspired by the World War II hit song, which we will be performing today. And that really was the poster for women taking over, and we can do it. We can work the riveting, we can build the planes, we can do the men's work while the men are off doing other things. So, we will do our best to recreate these two episodes for you, along with the wonderful and famous Rosie the Riveter song, just as they aired for you back then, with sound effects, music, and even a vacuum cleaner or two. So, in the meantime, just imagine that you might want to imagine that you're in the studio audience, anxiously awaiting to watch your favorite performers do their thing on stage. Or imagine that you're sitting in your old living room, in front of the old Philco radio. The lights are down, and the music is beginning, and you're anxiously awaiting for your favorite show to begin. So join us now, as we take you back to those thrilling days of yesteryear.
And Molly. The makers of Johnson Wax and Johnson Self-Polishing Glow Coat present Fibber, McGee, and Molly, written by Don Quinn, with music by the Kingsmen and Billy Mills Orchestra. The show opens with New Sun in the Sky. You'll agree with me that the looks, the character, and the charm of a home certainly do not depend on the amount of money spent on it. The piece of furniture, a hanging, or a floor covering may be in very good taste and be very inexpensive. No, it's not the money. It's all the little things you do that make your home friendly and cozy. The use of wax is one of those things, because certainly where floors and furniture and woodwork are regularly waxed, they give beauty and charm to an entire home. And wax also is inexpensive. A small bottle or can of Johnson's Paste liquid or cream wax goes a long way, pays for itself many times over in hours of work saved, and in the protection a shield of genuine Johnson's wax gives to wood, leather, and metal furnishings. The Squire of 79 Wistful Vista is a man of many parts. So is a vacuum cleaner. The party of the first part is just now finding out about the party of the second part, having so many parts, as we join Fibber, McGee, and Molly.
Of all the doggone complicated gadgets I know, I don't know why it takes so much machinery to create a vacuum, like building $1 million laboratory to split atoms.
Haven't you got that vacuum cleaner fixed yet, McGee?
No, I've been working on it all day, and all I can see is wrong with it is this little gadget missing off this thingamajig there. It goes behind the, what's it, under the hootenanny here.
Yes, I know. I told you that before you started.
You did?
Certainly, but you wouldn't listen. You just kept saying, what do women know about mechanics? And you brushed me off.
Well, they don't know anything about mechanics. Matter of fact, women don't know much about anything.
Why, Fibber, McGee, how can you stand there and say...
No, they're sweet and they're nice and all that, but when it comes down to actually doing things, it takes a man.
Well, who would we better get?
Well, I don't know. Maybe more tubes ain't too... What do you mean, who can we get?
Well, I don't agree with you that men are smarter than women.
Oh, you don't? Well, who does all the important work in this world? Who earns the dough so you women can eat and have good clothes and a home and stuff? Men, that's who.
I see. We take what you earn, so that makes you think you're smarter than we are.
Yeah, well, it's men that makes life easier for you. A woman couldn't even open a can of beans if some man hadn't invented a can opener.
Well, you really said something there, dearie.
I sure did.
You did indeed.
Yes, sir.
For 1,000 years, women have been cooking beans in an oven and then serving them in dishes.
You betcha.
Then along comes Mr. Man, the smarty pants. Going to save us a lot of trouble, so he invents a tin can to put the beans in.
You betcha.
And then he finds he has to invent a can opener to get the beans out. And then he spends so much time trying to sell his new gadget from door to door, he gets home late and his wife has to heat the beans over again in the oven. And might as well just cook them there in the first place.
Well, yeah, but I still maintain...
I'm sorry, dearie, I'm sorry. The battle of the sexes is another program. I've got things to do and you've got to fix that vacuum cleaner.
Well, I can't fix it till I get one of those little thingamabobs that attaches to this what's-its here. Hey, give me the phone. I'll have the hardware store send one over.
The phone's out of order.
Uh-huh. The phone's out of order, she says. Now, there's a fine example of women's inefficiency. Why didn't you tell me so I could have reported it and get it fixed?
I reported it myself the first thing this morning.
Uh-huh. Well, they sending somebody out?
Naturally. They said there'd be a repairman out immediately.
Oh, a repairman, huh? Don't suppose you know any women that could have fixed it?
A woman wouldn't have invented the telephone in the first place.
What you mean?
Who wants a nickel's worth of gossip when the back fence is free?
Oh, that must be the repairman now. Come in, sir.
McGee residence?
Well, we'll start arguing that point with the FHA, but we live here.
Well, I'm from the telephone company. Reported your phone out of order?
Doggone it, sis, you have to come all the way out here to check up on that? Why didn't you just send a repairman?
I'm the repairman. Where's the telephone?
It's right here. It went dead this morning, and I just...
Don't worry, I'll find it.
Oh, boy, it's gonna be good. Better fix up the guest room, Molly. She'll be here a week.
And that'll be nice. Maybe she'll tell me how the phone company trains those bumblebees.
What bumblebees?
The ones that give you the busy signal.
Hand me my screwdriver, please. Thank you.
Ah, this is rich. Alexandria Graham Belladonna. I bet you don't know.
Quiet, please. Quiet. Hello? This is number 29, testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, woof, woof. Okay, bring me back, please. Hello? Okay now? All clear. It's all right now, sir. I don't think you'll have any more trouble.
How? It's fixed already? What was the matter with it, sis?
The diaphragm was full of cigar ashes. Good day.
So that's where those ashes went last night.
Why didn't you just ask her to fix the vacuum cleaner for you do, sweetheart?
Well, just because she managed to make a simple adjustment on the telephone by some fluke, that don't mean she could have fit. Oh, I'll bet the phone doesn't even work right now, I'll bet you.
Try it? Try it?
Yeah, give me.
Well, here.
Operator? Give me the hardware store. The number is Wistful Vis, oh, is that you, Mort?
No, I'm sorry. She did get it fixed.
How's every little thing, Mort? Tis, huh? Oh, what's that, Mort? Your uncle? Well, they sure got the right spirit, Bert, but If he's over 38 years old, I don't think he can get back in.
The Army, dearie?
No, high school. What's that, Merv? Well, maybe I better get down there myself. Thanks, Merv. Yeah, line's busy at the hardware store, Molly. You want to go down there with me?
If you walk.
What do you mean if I walk? I've got 4 gallons of gas. I gotta save that for something essential. Come on, let's go.
I'll be with you in just a minute. I've got to fix my hair a little and put on my face. I'll be down in just a second.
Women. Put on my face, fix my hair, find my gloves, get a hanky, squirt on some perfume, straighten my seams, change my earrings, pull down my girdle. Where did I put my purse? Oh, does my slip show? Oh, the dumb inefficiencies. Oh, come in.
Mr. McGee,
Yeah?
30 cents, please. I'm collecting for the evening paper.
Oh, okay, here you are, sis, but why did the paper boy collect?
I'm the paper boy now. Thank you.
Whew, boy, what a changing world. Hey, Molly, come on, Molly, hurry up.
What's all the rush, McGee?
Oh, I want to get out of here before the finance company sends a couple of cuties out to pick up the piano. Women telephone repairmen, women wrestlers, women mechanics, women paper.
No, now, stop your complaining, McGee. I imagine a woman delivering the evening paper will be very conscientious.
Well, I just did. I'm so used to looking all through the shrubbery. How could I find a paper if it's laying right there on the porch?
Incidentally, dearie, I forgot to tell you.
Forgot to tell me what?
The next time you write a note for the milkman, you better let me do it. She's a redhead.
You mean even the milkman is a woman now? Oh, my God. I don't know what this country's coming to.
McGee, look who's coming. Mrs. Uppington.
Uh-oh. Get a load of that uptown strut. Anybody think that Peacock brought her instead of a common old stork?
Now, don't be unpleasant, dearie. It isn't nice to hate people just because they're rich, you know.
Oh, I don't hate her just because she's rich. Well, that helps. The way she looks down her nose at me, I tried staring back at her once and I was cross-eyed for 3 days.
Well, hello there, Abigail darling.
Oh, how do you do, Mrs. McGee and Mr. McGee?
Oh, hi, Uppy. On your way somewhere, or have you been where you're going?
This is strictly business, Mr. McGee. I'm a working girl now, you know.
You may be working, but you're no girl.
Maybe. You're working, Abigail. Heavenly days. Who on earth would ever hire you? I mean, what could you possibly do that would be worth as well? Where are you working?
Oh, that is quite confidential. But my dear, it is so thrilling to feel oneself a part of the humming business life of the city, to feel that one, in one small way, is doing one's best to help one's fellow man.
I'll give you a fin for those 5 ones, Appy.
I beg your pardon, Mr. McGee.
Nah, he's just trying to be smart, Abigail.
Oh, really? Well, I'm sorry. I always seem to be present when the attempt fails. Have you ever achieved it, Mr. McGee?
What do you mean, Uppy?
I mean, Mr. McGee, that I do not wish you to think that your attempts at humor are entirely unappreciated.
Oh, honest? You don't say that just because you admire me.
My admiration stops somewhat short of adulation. In short, I consider you a humorist in a class with Mark Twain.
Oh, isn't that grand?
Mark Twain, huh? Is he dead?
Very. I see that you've grasped my point. And now, Miss McGee, if you will excuse me, I must be going.
Oh, don't rush off, Abigail. I'd like to hear more about this new work of yours.
Yeah, me too, Uppy. Gee, it must give you a lot of satisfaction to hold down a real man's job.
Ah, indeed it does, Mr. McGee. You must try it sometime. Well, goodbye, Mrs. McGee. I just have time to get to the office to put on my uniform.
Uniform?
Yes, oh, it's such fun, really. There's nothing like wearing a uniform, you know, to give one a feel of esprit de corps.
Yeah, ain't the truth, Uppy. I rented one from a costume company once. I had that feeling for weeks. I itched all over. Maybe it's just my imagination, but I could have...
Now, please, Mr. McGee. Goodbye, Mrs. McGee.
Did I say something wrong?
I don't know, McGee, but I do wish you two would stop snarling at each other.
Well...
I always feel like I spent the day climbing in out of a ring with a towel and a pail of water.
She's too doggone high-hat. She burns me up. She always acts like she just stepped off the Plymouth Rock and I was something that crawled out from under.
I wonder what kind of a job she's got.
I don't know, this thing is getting worse and worse. Way women are taking men's jobs off.
Oh, it isn't that bad. Come on now, we've got to get across to the hardware store.
All right.
No, we can't cross the street now. The light's against us.
Oh, come on, there's hardly any traffic. Come on.
Watch your step there. I'll be running in for jaywalking. Go on, go back to the curb now, both of you.
Heavenly days, a policewoman.
Oh, this is too much. I'm going home and learn how to crochet.
Now, this is Laura McGee. So Somebody's got to take the men's places. Come on, we got the light now.
Women pay the poor.
Well, hello, folks. Doing your Christmas shopping?
Oh, hello, Mr. Wilcox. No, we're just down to buy a part for a vacuum cleaner.
Hey, Harlow, you still working for Johnson's Wax?
Certainly. Why?
You mean no woman has taken your place yet?
What are you talking about, John?
Well, he's frightened, Mr. Wilcox.
Yeah, you ain't kidding, I really am. Women are moving in on us, Harlow. I'm scared.
Don't be like that.
I'm telling you, the first time I see a bunch of girls standing on the corner watching men on the streetcar, I'm off to the tall.
He's had a bad day, Mr. Wilcox.
Women.
You know, we got a lady milkman and a lady paper boy and the telephone repairman was a woman and we just got bawled out by a female cop.
well, personally, Fibber, I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, traitor.
No, not at all. Why, we wouldn't be in business if it weren't for women being so smart.
How was that, Mr. Wilcox?
Well, if women hadn't demanded an easier, simpler way to protect their kitchen linoleum, Johnson's self-polishing glow coat would never have been developed.
Well, that's all very well.
Why, it's the women who realized that a protective wax polish like Johnson's glow coat was really a very important health measure,
Yeah, but I don't quite see what...
because it seals surfaces against dust and dirt and dampness, and makes a kitchen where food is prepared a great deal more sanitary place.
Well, what's that got to do?
Why, when you stop to think about it, Johnson's self-polishing glow coat dries to a beautiful mirror-like finish in 20 minutes or less.
What's the matter?
Oh, nothing. Fibber usually interrupts me about that point.
Not anymore, I don't, Junior. You go right on, give it everything. Take as much long time as you like. I want you to keep your job.
Why, McGee?
Well, you think I want to be left in this town with nobody but women? Too old for the army, aren't you, Wilcox?
Well, yeah. But
Good. We gotta see more of each other, pal. Drop around the house oftener. Let's go bowling together and hunting. Gee whiz, we could be a regular Damon and Runyon.
Well, this is all very touching, McGee. It's a beautiful friendship, but we've got to get that vacuum cleaner fixed. We'll see you later, Mr. Wilcox.
Okay, Molly. And Fibber, you might as well stop worrying about this being a woman's world.
Oh, you mean you don't think it will be?
I mean, it always has been. So long.
You better take his advice, McGee. You haven't got any job a woman could get anyway.
Well, I know.
Now what?
I'm fresh out of cigars. Excuse me while I duck into this tobacco shop and get a handful.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Oh my gosh, another woman. Hey, you got any of my brand of cigars? Says El Ropo de Cabacho and the two for nickel size?
Oh, certainly, sir. Here you are, though we have a milder brand in the pure Havana with a long filter.
Oh.
Those you are smoking are a combination of Virginia short fiber combined with a Turkish leaf, which has been crossed with a Louisiana perique. We have found that in the selection of tobaccos that under chemical analysis, the nicotine content...
Never mind. I don't eat them, I just smoke them. Yeah, here's a dime. So long. There's a plague. I'm haunted.
Oh, now what's the matter, McGee?
Women's cigar club. What'll they be next? You couldn't work around here anymore for men? Is the whole world on soprano?
Oh, now for goodness sakes, McGee, stop ranting. Have you seen any women?
Hello there, Doctor. Hello, Johnny.
Well, thank goodness, a man's voice.
Hello, Mr. Oldtimer. We haven't seen you for a long time.
I've been working on the other side of town, Doctor.
Hey, doing what all the time?
Filling station. But the boss fired me.
Oh, what did you do that for?
Wasn't a he, it was a she. Got mad because I tried to kiss her. Says it was a filling station, not a pet shop. Says if I want to be a wolf, I better get me some new teeth. Says I didn't have the technique for a Casanova nor the legs for a Romeo. Says if I wanted to make passes so bad, why didn't I go out for football? Says she loves children, but I was in my second child and she only loved them the first time around. That's got me, kids. I quit.
I thought you said she fired you.
Well, anyway, I got me walking papers.
Yeah, so does McGee, but in his case, they call it an able.
That's pretty good, daughter, but that ain't the way I heard it. The way I heard it, one fella says to another fella, "Say," he says, "say, where are you kids going?"
Oh, we're going down to the hardware store in the next block. Why?
I'm just wondering. But the way I heard it, one fella says to the other fella, "Say," he says, "what's wrong with old Mussolini?" "Oh," says the other fella, "didn't you know? He ain't got the aces and the deuce is wild."
The Kingsmen sing No More Coffee in the Pot. There's an open letter to the boys in the air on land or phone. While you're strapping over there, we're stepping a strap back home. on margarine if it's gonna help win the war. Don't need cuffs on trouser legs and suits now are dead. We'll jump up bumpers on our cars if we can bump 3-axis heads. No more Ethel in the tank, no more tires anymore. But we all swap, we'll get out and walk. It's gonna help win the war. Do less driving, do more walking. You'll get a dividend, you'll get a dividend. No more talking on the phone. From Fort Worth to Baltimore, I'll get a long line with the old grapevine. It's gonna help win the war. No more spending all our dough. We've got a lot to save for. Phone miles and stamps to lick the tramps. To get this going on board. We're cleaning, painting, hanging papers, waxing all we can. To clean and plaster, shingle, brewer, the paper hanging man. No more filling on the cow. Skirts are shorter than before. So we'll eat less sex in bed more. We're all pitching and help to win this fight. War.
Well, I certainly would like to know what Abigail Uppington is working at, McGee. You know, that puzzles me.
Yeah, me too. She's a supervisor for the police department enforcing the blackout.
What makes you think so?
Well, I can't think of any other use for a dim bulb like her.
Now listen now, I like her. Though I would like to know why she's keeping this job up for such a secret.
Whatever it is, I'll
Oh, no, here, McGee. Here's the hardware store.
Huh.
Now, you remember what you need for the vacuum cleaner.
Sure I do. Come on.
Good day. What can I do for you?
Look, sis, can I see the manager?
Certainly. I'm the manager.
Oh, well, we hardly expected to see a woman managing a hardware store.
Oh, maybe you didn't, Molly. I'm getting so used to expecting to find them managing anything. I bet I can look out the back window tomorrow morning and find our garbage man covering her nose.
What can I do for you, please?
Well, I don't suppose you know anything about it, dearie, but our vacuum cleaner is broken and we need a little you tell her, dearie.
Okay. Look, sis. A vacuum cleaner, that's a pretty complicated mechanism, so I'll try to explain it what I wanted in words of one syllable or less.
What kind of vacuum cleaner is it, please?
A rover.
I see. Then you undoubtedly need the little flange that fits over the gear housing to keep the brush unit from meshing with the speed governor. That would be 237J129 in the new catalog, and I think I have one right here. This is what you wanted.
Well, is it McGee? McGee, close your mouth and stop popping your eyes and tell me.
Yeah, that's the very thing. How did you know, sis?
That's usually what's wanted to repair the rover machine.
Oh.
That's because there's too much vibration in the gear housing for the tensile strength of the material.
Ah.
It causes what we call metal fatigue, which results in undue wear. Now, in the earlier models, the disc, which is superimposed on the power shaft directly under the intermediate.
McGee, stop shaking. I think my husband is a bit ill, dear. I better get him out in the fresh air. How much is it?
The ceiling price is 47 cents. Though in the catalogs from 1934 to 1941, inclusive, it was listed as
Never mind, here's $50, thank you very much. Come on, McGee. Brace up, it's all over.
Was I hearing things, Mom? Is that a woman? Did she know all that stuff about the vacuum cleaner?
It was, and she did, and maybe now you believe that women are useful at times. Come on, let's go home now.
Oh, well, what a day this has been. Women everywhere. I'm telling you, it scares me.
What scares you, Mr. McGee?
Mr. Whipple, I didn't see you.
Oh, hiya, Wimple, man. I was just saying, with all these women taking men's places in business, I feel kind of lost. Us guys are going to have a tough time getting back into circulation again.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about it, Mr. McGee.
Huh?
I often tell Sweetie Face, a woman's place is in the home.
You tell her that?
Yes. Then when she gets up and starts after me, I tell her wherever she is home to me.
Yes. What's the matter with your lips, Wim? You fall down or something?
Oh, no, Mr. McGee. They're just a little bruise. Cigarettes, you know.
Oh, how could you smash her lips all up with a cigarette?
Yeah.
Well, Sweetie Face is so afraid of fire in her feminine way that every time she sees a lighted cigarette, she stamps it out with her foot. I guess I didn't spit it out quickly enough.
Why, you poor man. And what have you been doing downtown today?
I went to the Bonton department store, Mrs. McGee, to tell Santa Claus what I wanted for Christmas.
Did you sit in his lap, Wim?
Oh, Mr. McGee, that's ridiculous. Santa Claus hasn't got a lap.
Well, what did you ask him for, Mr. Wimble?
A pair of stilts.
Stilts?
Isn't that a little childish, Mr. Wimble?
No, not in this case, Mrs. McGee. I read someplace that you can tame a wild beast if you look it straight in the eye. Sweetie Face is so much taller than I am.
Well, how's everything in the poetry department, Wim?
Oh, I keep right on with it, Mr. McGee. I just finished a Christmas poem.
Oh, let's hear it, Mr. Wimble. Come on now.
All righty. I call it The Morning After the Night Before Christmas. And it goes,
Yeah, that's the best one you've written yet.
I was just clearing my throat, Mr. McGee.
A natural mistake. Go on, Mr. Wimble.
All righty. From the Arctic Circle down to the Isthmus, we're waiting eagerly for Christmas, with joyous hearts and sparkling eyes for Santa's annual surprise. And I always win in the Yuletide race, 'cause I steal some hoes from Sweetie Face. An idea I think is very clever, as hers holds more than mine would ever. With a gay little carol in a razzmatazz, oh, what a sock that woman has. Oh, excuse me, folks, here comes my streetcar, goodbye.
Oh, what a poem.
Didn't you like it, Mickey?
I read better ones on Burger Shave signs with the last two posts missing. Come on, let's go home. I'm wore out.
Well, you've had a hard day, dearie. You know, it's been a great emotional strain on you, finding women so efficient and everything.
Oh, gee whiz, they don't have to take over everything, do they? They can leave a few jobs open for men. After all,
Oh, Mickey, give me some change. I want to drop in the box for the Santa Claus on the corner.
Okay, here you are. I better stand back from my cigar and set his beard on fire.
Yes, here you go, Santa Claus. Here's a little present for you.
Ooh, thank you very much, Mrs. McGee.
Abigail?
Okay.
Jingle bell, jingle all the way.
You've had that experience, I'm sure, of walking into a wax-protected home where floors, furniture, and woodwork gleam with that mellow, rich beauty that only wax can give. I wonder if you realize that there was something awfully important in that home besides beauty. I mean, its cleanliness and what that means in healthful living. When you wax your floors, woodwork, and baseboards with Johnson's Wax, you not only protect those surfaces against wear, but you actually prevent dirt from collecting there. You seal the surfaces against moisture penetration, too. And germs don't like clean, dry places. Yes, a waxed house is a clean house, and a clean house is a sanitary, healthful one. Let Johnson's Wax, paste, liquid, or cream help you, especially in these times, to keep your home immaculate as well as beautiful.
Now, where's that vacuum cleaner, Molly? I want to put this thing of jig into it.
Right where you always leave it.
Huh?
In the center of the room.
Oh, yeah. Now, let me see. I think if I tip over this... Hey, look, it's running.
I know.
It's fixed.
Sure, I fixed it.
You did? How?
I plugged it in.
All the doggone inefficiencies. Ain't that just like a woman? Why, if you would have plugged it in the first place, we wouldn't have had any trouble.
No, and we wouldn't have had any show either.
Oh, I never thought of that. Bye.
Good night, all.
The characters of Wallace Whipple and the Old Timer heard on this program are played by Bill Thompson. This is Harlow Wilcox, speaking for the makers of Johnson's Wax Finishes for home and industry, inviting you to be with us again next Tuesday night. Tonight, the program has reached you from Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
All the days long, whether rain or shine, she's a part of the assembly line. She's making history, working for victory. Rosie! Keeps a sharp lookout for sabotage, sitting up there on the fuselage. That little frill can do more than an enemy do. Rosie! Rosie's got a boyfriend, Charlie. Charlie, he's a Marine. Rosie is protecting Charlie. of production E. She was as proud as a girl could be. There's something true about red, white, and blue, about Rosie. Everyone stops to admire the scene. Working at work at the P19. She's never twittering, nervous or jittery. Rosie. What if she's smeared full of grease and oil, doing her bit for the old land lease? She keeps the gang round, they love to hang round. Rosie! Rosie buys a lot of war bonds. That girl really has sense. Wish she could purchase more bonds, putting all her extra cash in national defense. Oh, when they gave her a production E, she was as proud as a girl could be. There's something true about red, white, and blue, about Rosie.
Around Dodge City and in the territory on west, there's just one way to kill the handle, the killers, and the spoilers, and that's with the U.S. Marshal and the smell of Gunsmoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad, the story of the violence that moved west with young America, the story of a man who moved with it, Matt Dillon, United States Marshal.
Morning, Mr. Dillon.
Morning, Miss Anna Mae.
Hello, Marshal.
Morning, John.
Hey, Matt, wait a second.
What? Oh, how you doing, Doc?
I'm away to the jail after you.
Oh,
You heard about the Longhorn?
no, what about
You haven't heard or you wouldn't ask.
it? Well, heard what, Doc?
Well, I'll walk along with you if you're heading that way.
Well, as a matter of fact, I was headed that way. Hey, what's all that crowd out front there for?
In due time, Matt, in due time.
You know, Doc, there's only one thing that makes you happier than having a secret, and that's to collect your coroner's fee.
Yeah, might get a fee out of this too before it's over.
No wonder you're all worked up.
Hey, have you heard about the Longhorn?
Wow!
This is the dumbest thing I ever come across.
How you doing, Chester?
Morning, Mr. Dillon.
How are you, buddy?
Say, you heard about the Longhorn?
No, Chester, I have not heard about the Longhorn.
What?
He's upset, Chip. He's the only man in Dodge who hasn't heard.
Look, so help me, Doc. If this is one of your practical jokes...
No, I have nothing to do with that. You'll see.
Pardon me, ma'am?
Come through.
Pardon me, please.
Let me through, please.
Excuse me.
Well, Mr. Dillon?
What do you think of it, Matt? Aside from misspelled words.
The Longhorn's been closed all morning.
Yep, locked tight. That sign was on the door at daylight.
The Longhorn Saloon will open at 8 o'clock tonight with new management and a new policy. Everybody welcome. Signed, the new manager, Mamie.
Mamie. That's a woman, Matt.
Lately of Kansas City, St. Louis, and points east.
Well, I don't know, Mr. Dillon. My, we ain't never had a woman running a saloon in Dodge City before.
And we won't now, Chester. The boys won't let her last an hour, I'm afraid.
Be kind of fun for that hour, though.
And another thing, if this Mamie is the new manager, what's happened to Herman Bleeker?
Well, I don't know. He must have sold it to her.
He didn't say anything about it yesterday morning.
That's right, I saw him over to the livery stable in the afternoon showing off one of them fancy vests he's always wearing. And he never said one word about it.
Well, you know that little Pop and Jay. He's flighty. Probably happened suddenly.
Yeah, too sudden, Doc. Even for Herman.
So come to think of it, I haven't seen him all morning. He's usually strutting up and down Front Street here, preening himself like a powder pigeon.
Yeah, he's probably upstairs there, sleeping in, getting ready for the opening tonight.
We gonna be here, Mr. Dillon?
Mamie, huh?
Mr. Dillon?
What? Oh, yeah, Chester, we're gonna be here.
I'm sorry, boys, but she's upstairs. Said she'd be down about 8 o'clock, and that's all I knew about it. Now, if you want to order anything, let's hear it. And if you don't, just shut up. Say, the boys are acting kind of rambunctious, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, sure wish he'd stayed in St. Louis.
Say, Matt, I was talking to the bartender. I asked him what she looks like, and he said he told me. I wouldn't believe it.
fella I'd like to talk to is Herman Bleeker.
Yeah, well, nobody's seen hide nor hair of him. You know, man, I'm beginning to wonder too.
Howdy, strangers! Welcome to the Longhorn. I'm Mamie, the new owner.
Mamie?
My gracious sakes alive.
190 pounds if she weighs an ounce.
The bartender was right. I wouldn't have believed it.
Boys, looks like we're going to be doing a business together, so let's get things straight right in the beginning. Now, in the first place, the minute you stick your foot inside that door, you're on my stomping ground. I'm the boss of this shebang, and don't you ever forget it. When I tell anybody to hop, he hops. Is that clear? Now, I'll tell you what. I aim to give the squarest deal in town. All the liquor here is going to be aged over 30 days, and the dancing girls aged under 30 years. The liquor's straight, and the girls are graceful. There's only 4 aces in every deck, and the cards only read from the front side.
Talks too much.
You'll get a fair shake for your money, but there ain't gonna be no fan dangling. And another thing.
Single dangle dangler.
Mister, I'm talking.
So am I, you old battle axe.
Excuse me, boys.
Uh-oh, looks like it started, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, but wait a second now.
He paid for this drink?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you wall-eyed old maverick. Come on. Throw his head on after him. Now, as I was saying, boys, I just won't stand for no fan dangling. Now, maybe some of you figured I was wearing this 6-shooter for a decoration. Well, now, just cast your eyes on that ace of spades like I tacked up on the back wall. Now!
For the land's sake, did you see that draw, Mr. Dillon?
Yeah, she got the card too.
Oh, the boys won't give her no trouble, Dad.
All right, boys, the first one's on the house, and it's the last free one you'll get, and the only credit I give is for funeral expenses. Belly up, boys!
Well, sir, Mr. Dillon?
Chester, I want to talk to Herman Bleeker more than ever.
Hey, you know she's big enough to... Well, I bet she forced Herman to sell.
Yeah, maybe, Doc. I'll be right back. I want to talk to her.
Ah, that shooting was nothing, boys. Oh, you're the marshal, huh?
Yeah, that's right, ma'am. My name's Dillon.
Proud to shake your hand, Mr. Dillon.
Well, thank you, Miss Mamie. Welcome to Dodge City.
Mighty decent of you to express the sentiment, Marshal. I reckon you won't get much business around the Longhorn. I'll take care of any trouble that's around here.
Well, that would be quite a change. The boys used to push Bleeker around every now and then.
Oh, that grunny little prairie dog.
I didn't know he was planning to sell, Miss Mamie. Must have made up his mind in a hurry.
Yeah, I made him an offer and he took it. Just like that.
He found himself some new living quarters, I suppose.
Oh, yeah. He moved right out last night.
Oh, I wonder where he's holed up.
Huh?
Well, there's a couple of things I'd like to see him about.
Well, now, I'll tell you. I'm afraid he left town, Mr. Dillon. I think he said something about taking the Santa Fe to St. Louis, now that I remember.
Oh, I see. Well, that's too bad. I'd sure like to have seen him. Well, I'll probably drop in now and then, Miss Mamie.
Sure, anytime, Marshal. For you, it's on the house.
Thank you.
What'd you find out, Mr. Dillon?
Let's get out of here, Chester. Coming, Doc?
Sure. Oh, yes. Both ears are flat now.
Well, boys, what do you think of her?
Oh, my gracious, Mr. Dillon, I would sure hate to meet her in the dark.
Why, she's got a voice like a buffalo.
Ain't it awful? It just itches your ears, don't it?
Why, the woman's a human monstrosity.
I still haven't seen her.
What'd she say, Matt?
She says she thinks he left town. Chester, I want you to check all the rooming houses and hotels along Front Street. I'm going to go to the railroad station and the stage lines. I'll meet you over at the jail.
Yes, sir, Mr. Dillon.
Say, Matt, I think Herman kept a horse over at the livery stables.
Yeah, I thought of that, Doc. I wonder if you'd be good enough to look into that for me.
Why, sure. Be happy to.
You know, Mr. Dillon, she is an awful straight shot.
Yeah, Chester, I know.
You hear that?
Oh, yeah. Come on in, Doc.
Well, his horse is still over at the stable. He didn't tell them anything about leaving.
He didn't leave, Doc. Mamie came in on the 9 o'clock train last night. Only one train out after that around midnight. He wasn't on it. And he didn't buy a ticket on the stage either.
You see? No wonder I tell you. Matt, that settles it.
Yeah. Of course, he may have moved into one of the hotels.
No, sir, Mr. Dillon, I'm afraid he didn't.
Oh? What'd you find out, Chester?
And nobody in this town has seen Herman Bleecker since around 9 o'clock last night.
Matt, I knew I'd get me a fee out of this one way or the other.
Well, don't spend it yet, Doc. What?
Buenas noches, senores.
Oh, Manuel, come on in.
Oh, gracias, Senor Dillon.
Well, what's on your mind?
Well, senor, I was at the railroad depot when I heard you ask about the little one, Senor Bleecker.
Oh?
And the other, the senora. Oh, there's much woman in that one.
Well, there's no argument there, Manuel.
Well, senor, last night I have seen something which is strange.
Oh?
I have come home very late, 1 hour, 2 hours before dawn. I was visiting a friend, you understand?
Yeah, I understand.
Well, you see, I walk home in much a hurry. It is really dark, senor, when at once I see this lantern in the arroyo behind the Longhorn Cantina.
Oh, a lantern, you say?
Yeah, I think, what is this? So I wait. And this lantern has come toward me, and when it is close, oh, this woman, I have no seen one like her. Oh, what a scare.
Well, what was she doing in the arroyo?
I do not know, but there's one thing I forget. She has carried something in her hand.
Well, what was it, Manuel?
A shovel, senor.
You find anything, Matt?
Well, there's something here, Doc. I can't quite. Pull my lantern over here, will you, Chester?
Yes, sir, Mr. Dillon.
I found something here. If I can just get it loose.
Lantern all right, Mr. Dillon? Can you see that? What's in?
Yeah, it's fine, Chester. Yeah, I got it.
Oh.
It's a boot. And here's the other one.
Yeah, all that fancy stitching. Matt, those are his. I've seen them on him.
Yeah, so have I, Doc. Yesterday, in fact. Here, take them, Chester.
Yes, sir.
There's a bundle of some kind here.
Ooh, found the body, huh?
No, it's clothes, I think, Doc. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's all there is, too. This won't let him go any deeper. That's hard paint on the bottom there. Hold the lantern down there, Chester. Let me get this unwrapped.
I'm not so sure about that coat, Mr. Dillon. A lot of them around like that around town.
Yeah, I know. But take a look at this fancy vest.
Oh, that's Herman's. Nobody else in Dodge City ever wear anything like that.
Well, from the looks of it, he won't be wearing it again.
We will return for the second act of Gunsmoke in just a moment. But first, the escape car speeds from the scene of the crime, and the victim notes its license number. Police investigating the case discover the car has an ironclad alibi. That just begins the excitement on tomorrow night's Gangbusters program. It's The Case of the Twice Parked Car, an authentic crime story taken from actual police records. Don't miss Gangbusters, presented by CBS Radio, tomorrow night over most of these same stations. Now, the second act of Gunsmoke.
Hey, come on, Doc.
Don't rush me, man. Don't rush me. I haven't made one of these blood tests in years. You ask me, I don't see any use in making one now. Well, let me see. What are the precipitating into here? What other kind of blood could it be except human?
Doc, I only want to be sure, that's all.
All right. Now, let me see. 5 drops of the sulfate. You sure look uncomfortable, man.
Well, how'd you like to try arresting that lady, Doc?
Not my job to arrest her. All I'm doing is stopping up these loopholes Matt's trying to wiggle out of.
Well, that's just real decent of you, Doc, real decent.
No, sir, man, I don't ever recall you being in such a predicament. Oh, of course, I remember the night you shouted out at the Barkley boys over at the Elephorganza. There were 3 of them, and you did not turn a hair. And then the other time when you got dry gulched by the Platte River Gang.
All right, Doc, all right, but this is different. If I go to arrest that woman, she's just crazy enough to start a gunfight.
Oh, it's a problem, all right. Now, let's see, we'll just shake this up and warm it a bit. Yeah.
You know, there is one thing, though, Mr. Dillon. Shooting at a mark's not the same as a gunfight. Maybe she wouldn't even resist.
Do you really believe that, Chester?
No, sir. She ain't a woman, she's a human catastrophe.
She sure is. For Matt.
Well, there's still a chance we may be going off half-cocked here. The blood could have got on Herman's vest a dozen different ways.
Well, we'll soon see. Let's see now. A couple drops of reagent. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. This now. And then we'll look for the color change. So, turn up the lamp a little bit, will you, Chester, please?
All right, Doc.
Oh, well, my. Yeah, yes, well.
Well, Doc?
Well, it's tough luck, man. It's human blood. Hey, Matt, I thought we was going over to the Longhorn to talk to Mamie. How come to jail?
That she'll keep, Doc. She's not going anywhere.
Yeah, looks cut and dry to me, Matt.
It might not if you were in my shoes. Come on in, boys.
You know, Mr. Dillon, when I talked to the barkeep by Finnegan, he said that when he showed up this morning to open the saloon, that woman was already inside waiting for him. She told him to come back at 8 o'clock tonight, and he didn't see no sign of Herman Bleecker.
Oh, well, there's another nail in your coffin, Matt.
Doc, if you keep this up, I'm going to deputize you and take you along with me.
You sure can't have my job, Mr. Dillon.
No, you don't. I would not lift a hand in anger against a woman. Especially that woman.
I keep thinking we could still be wrong somehow.
Real diehard, huh?
Look, now suppose Herman hurt himself some way.
How?
And he wanted to get away by himself and recuperate.
Where?
And suppose he didn't want anybody to know about it.
Why?
So he decided to stay with some friend.
Ooh.
And, well, maybe... come on, Chester, let's go. There she is at the end of the bar.
What are you going to do, Mr. Dillon?
Take her in, Chester. Maybe she'll talk when she's arrested. I gotta get that gun away from her somehow.
It's not going to be easy.
It's gotta be done. I never drawn a gun on a woman yet, and I'm not gonna start now. If I could just manage to, I don't know, there might be a chance. Stick close to me, Chester.
Yes, Mr. Dillon.
Well, Marshall, mighty glad you dropped back here.
I was wondering how you're getting along, Miss Mamie.
Like a kid with 2 tongues and an all-day summer. Say now, tell me, did you find that little weasel, Herman Bleecker?
I thought you told me he left town.
Oh, well, I was just guessing, Mr. Dillon. He said something about planning to. Here, step up and have a shot of poison.
No, thank you, no thank you. As a matter of fact, I came here for a particular purpose. Chester and I have a little bet on.
Mr. Dillon, we,
What kind of a bet is it, Marshall?
Well, it's about that shooting trick of yours, hitting the center of that playing card, you know. Chester figures it was a fluke of luck. He's betting me that you can't do it 5 times in a row.
Well, we'll soon settle that. Card's still up there. Stand aside, boys! Mamie's gonna limber up her shooting iron, so get out of the way! Get down, Curly. All right. There's one. Couple of them.
You're doing fine so far.
How we doing down there, boys?
All dead center so far.
Say, you there, whatever your name is. What do you think of your bet now?
well, I guess I just kind of lost my head, Miss Mamie.
Well, 3 down, 2 to go. There's 4, and 1 more. Oh yeah.
What are you stopping for now, Mamie?
Well, I got some rules I go by, Marshal. One of them's never to fire my last shot and leave my gun empty.
Oh, I see. Well, that's a pretty good idea, I guess.
Sorry to lose your bet for you, Marshal.
I'm convinced. I guess I didn't quite,
Chester, Miss Mamie, I guess you're not a gambler yourself, huh?
Who says so? I'll take a fair bet at even odds any day of the weekend twice in Philadelphia.
Well, in that case, I'll make you one. I've got a pretty fair gun here, or at least I thought so till I saw yours in action.
Well, I'll tell you every bit as good as mine.
Well then, how about a bet? Your gun against mine on a 1-cut high card, huh?
Well, now,
Of course,
I didn't...
it's all right with me if you'd rather back out.
Who's backing out? You got yourself a bet, Mr. Dillon. Finnegan! Shuffle off the deck.
Okay, Miss Mamie.
If it's a bet or a fight, Mamie never backs out.
Here you are, Miss Mamie.
Now, who goes first, Mr. Dillon?
Why, ladies, always.
All right, if your friend Lester will cut him for us once.
it's Chester. Chester W.
Never mind. Cut the cards.
Yes, sir. Or, ma'am.
Now, let's see what we've got.
Ah, Jack of Spades. That's not bad.
Plenty good, Marshal. good enough to beat anything you can.
King of Diamonds.
All right, I'm beat, fair and square. You won yourself a gun.
Thank you. Here, Chester, will you take it?
Yes, sir.
And now, the handcuffs.
Hey! No, stop that!
Amy, you're under arrest.
Why you, all the sidewinding, double-crossing bag?
Amy, now you're just gonna stay faster than me until I get you into the cell, so you might as well make the best of it.
Why?
As far as that's concerned, you'll be safer in jail than out of it, once word gets around. People here in Dodge City thought a lot of Herman Bleeker.
That little sawed-off groundhog?
That's no excuse for killing him in cold blood.
What?
You heard of Mamie? You killed me!
Bleeker?
This is the biggest night of my life! Here's somebody's finally shut up Mamie and make her like it.
The marshal's a gentleman, you little weasel. He knows how to talk to a
And
lady.
you say how much the town thinks of me, Mr. Martin.
What's this all about, Herman?
Well,
I'll tell you what it's all about. This little drumworm ran out on me in Cincinnati 3 years ago. Like it broke my heart. I've been hunting him down ever since, and last night I found him. I wailed the living daylights out of him.
Yeah, he looks like it. But why did you bury his clothes?
Mr. Dillon, would you want to be married to a man that dressed like that?
She pretty near murdered me, though, Mr. Dillon. I've been up there in bed, just too bruised and embarrassed to hobble downstairs.
We had our ups and downs, Marshal, me and Herman. You know how it is.
Yeah. Chester, give me the keys to the handcuffs, will you?
Yes, sir. Got them right here. Well, I guess they're over in the,
What's the matter, Chester?
Oh, Mr. Dillon. While we were digging out there, I guess I must have lost them.
Chester, can you file that thing any faster?
You might as well just relax, Mr. Dillon. It took a half hour to get that one off Miss Mamie's wrist.
Oh, all right. But just hurry, will you?
I'm a filing as fast as I can.
Hey, what's that?
What? Oh, God.
Maybe gave you this bottle of Irish here, make you wait a little easier, and it's Jameson's.
Oh, well. Fine, Doc, fine. Chester, let that go for a minute, huh? And open it up.
Yes, sir, Mr. Dillon.
Can you imagine it, boys? Little Herman Bleeker married for years to a woman like that.
Oh, I don't want to imagine. Oh, I get nightmares.
Here you go, Mr. Dillon.
Thank you, Chester.
Thank you, Chester.
Well, gentlemen, here's to the weaker sex.
Mr. Dillon, which one is that?
Gunsmoke, under the direction of Norman MacDonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Tonight's story was written specifically for Gunsmoke by Les Crutchfield, with music composed and conducted by Rex Curry. Featured in the cast were Jeanette Nolan as Mamie, with John Daner, Ralph Moody, and Byron Kane. Harley Bear as Chester. Howard McNear is Doc. Join us again next week as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, fights to bring law and order out of the wild violence of the West in Gunsmoke. Clancy Cassell speaking.
Thank you all so much for coming, and hopefully you enjoyed our show and got a really good experience and having a little girl power here. Thank you. As we said, we've been wrapping up our 13th season. We've got one more show coming up on June 28th. We've got a little bit of a break, and then we're coming back June 28th to celebrate wonderful horse racing on the radio. So please come and enjoy that. And of course then, look, you're already planning our next year with lots of exciting shows. You can get more information on our website at ttdyradio.com. But, of course, today's cast for those thrilling days of yesteryear. Playing Finnegan and the King's Men and others, Dave Romano. Joe Collins. Herman Bleeker, John Corona. and Bob. And the roles of Mamie and Rosie the Riveter, our own Pam Turlow. And of course, Blood Radio with the synchronous sound effect stylings of Julie Rogers Baker and John Corona on sound effects. And of course, our lush, magical music magic by Lex McCauley. Today's show was directed by our listening announcements, Craig Gustafson as well. And I'm your producer, Ben Wheeler. Please join us again on June 28th for a day at the races with Phil Harrison Halstay and my friend Irma and a special surprise guest of Spike Jones. It may be a long shot, but you can bet this show will be a whole lot of fun. So check us out on Facebook or at www.ttdy.radio. And once again, thank you for living those thrilling days of yesteryear so that we could bring them back to you. Thank you.